Now today, I want us to talk about Luhya unity, rather the supposed Luhya unity being spearheaded by immediate former minority leader Moses Masika. First of all, it is very important for us to get to break down and understand therefore what the meaning of the word unity is, because it is not necessarily true that Luhyas are divided as it is being alluded by the elderly Luhya political class, because unity is not just about being in harmony to vote in a particular way. It is also about being able to vote in whichever direction you want to and remaining as brothers and sisters, which is the true essence of democracy, which I think Luhyas have been over time. So I would wish to describe it as maybe Luhya political unity. It is a good thing to seek unity in by anyone in any place, but there are certain things that make me feel like this so-called unity being sought might not be able to be achieved, if at all the process of achieving it remains the same, for the following reasons. A failure cannot unite people. People unite because of an agenda. They cannot unite because of one failure, and they cannot unite because of an individual. Moses WETANGULA is seeking to unite the Luhya community because of a failure. When he was minority leader, there was no struggle to unite the Luhya community. When Moses Masika WETANGULA is not the minority leader, there is now a struggle to unite the Luhya community. That is an absurd reason that can rarely unite people. Two, people do not unite around an individual. People unite around an agenda. It's an agenda that makes people come together. Like when you look at the Kikuyu community, they always have an agenda of maintaining the dynasty. If you look at the Kikuyu community, they have been able to vote in a particular way many times, not because of individuals, but because of the agenda that they believe in. And the agenda of the Kikuyu community most often is that they must maintain power. That is the agenda. When you look at the Luo community, it's a community that has been nurtured to believe that they are revolutionaries, and that is why they vote in that agenda. Now, the leaders of the Luhya community, some faction of the leaders coming together to purport that they can unite a community on the basis of a failure, is a little bit absurd, and not something that can easily convince people that can be reason enough to unite. The second reason why this process might not be able to work so efficiently is because of the class of the people that are trying to unite the Luhya community. You'll find out that the people who have come together to purport to unite the Luhya community are all of a certain age. Yeah, so it is mostly the elderly people in Luhya that are purporting to unite the Luhya community. It is not bad for the elderly to lead, because it is only fair that age comes with wisdom and they lead, and then others will follow. But then the problem with this is that they are uniting, they are coming together to purport to unite the community, and yet they have left their youth away. And they are only uniting the community for the future. If you're uniting the community for the future, then you need the youthful population, because they are the ones that carry the future. You look at the likes of Edwin Sifuna, they are not part of that unity pact. He's in ODM. You look at the young Luhya leaders like Didmas Baraza, he's in Jubilee. You look at the young Luhya leaders like Cleophas Malala, who is in ANC but behaving more ODM than ANC. And these people are the future of the community. So it is very absurd for the top class, the elders, to choose to ignore the base and then claim to want to unite the community. One asks themselves, then what exactly are they purporting to unite? And that is another reason why I feel like if they continue the same way, then it is not going to be very easy. And the third reason why this might not be able to take shape very easily is because the Luhya leaders are taking the unity of a community as an event rather than a process. Unity is not an event, it is a process. political unity must be achieved through a process. But they are taking it in terms of it's just something that people call each other, then they call a press conference, and that becomes Luhya unity. Things don't work like that. Things have to be planned. Even for Francis Atwoli to achieve what he was able to achieve in what ended up crowning Musalia Mudavadi as the Luhya leader, it was a process. There was a research done by University of Nairobi on which Francis Atwoli based on to then declare that Mudavadi is the leader of the Luhya community. It doesn't matter whether the research was done or not done, but somehow it creates a perception that unilaterally this thing is acceptable and people can therefore believe it. It creates a notion of believability. But then if there is nothing and people just come in form of an event through a press conference, people don't get to unite through basically just through press conferences. Those are not things that unite people. Maybe another reason why it will be hard for this process to take shape is because the people who are purporting to unite the community have done very little for the community. They are not people that the community looks at and finds that they have done a lot for them. Yeah? The community was able to unite at some point under Kijana wa Malwa and Martin Shikuku. These are people that were revolutionaries and people had seen something in them. There was something they were doing for the community. When you look at the current crop, the people leading the Unity Pact, you look at Moses WETANGULA, a very seasoned politician. He has served in government at very many levels. He has been a minority leader. And when he was a minority leader, it was not a community affair. Yeah? He never made it a community affair. But when he stopped being a minority, it became a community affair. But through the position, the Luhyas cannot trace anything tangible to it. Look at Musalia Mudavadi. He has held over almost 6 ministries and he has been in government. He has come up to the helm. He has been a vice president at some point. But the Luhyas cannot trace something tangible to him. And that is why it's very difficult for these two people to come and therefore purport to unite the Luhya nation. As a matter of fact, they claim that they're trying to sell the narrative that the community has been abandoned and the community has been out of government. That narrative will not sell. Because basically, therefore, what they will be trying to tell people is that the community was out of government, even when themselves as individuals were in government. They are therefore propagating the correct, the assumption, or rather the perception that when they were in government, it was not the community in government. They were personal interests in government. Mudavadi cannot claim that the community has been out of government. He has been a vice president. He has been a minister of foreign affairs. He was the first ever minister of a ministry that has never existed since then, called the Ministry of Supplies and Marketing, when he was 31 years old. This is a person who has lived half of his life in government. So when you look at these things, it's actually an ingenuine thing that makes it very, very difficult for these people, Musalia Mudavadi and Moses WETANGULA, to claim that they can then achieve Luhya unity. But this is not to mean that Luhya unity is not achievable. Luhya unity is achievable, but it will only be achievable when people are honest, objective, and they look for an agenda to sell to the Luhya people. But that is my 2 cents. You might have yours.